Chapter 4. Roundheads You Lose. We dragged the king from his fine palace of Windsor. We did not call him king, we called him Charles Stuart, murderer, traitor, burner, spoiler, mischief maker, nation destroyer, liar, sneak. He made war on his own country for 7 years. Our people's army was called the Roundheads. It was led by Sir Thomas Fairfax and me. The king's army was called the Cavaliers. The Roundheads won. We made peace. The king broke the peace deal, so we beat him again in a second war. Everyone knew he was a liar now. "Stand down as king and let your son take your place." "Never!" "Then you must stand trial as a traitor." "I am your lawful king." He always stammered when crossed. "You cannot try me. If you do, you bring the judgment of God on this land." He spent weeks combing his long curls and bleating about his crucifixion. We told him, "You are not God's chosen. You are a tyrant with the blood of England on your hands. We sentence you to death." He stood there, not a king now, just a short man in a black hat and grey beard. He looked thin and ill. "Let him speak," said John Downes. Downes was one of only 59 men who signed the king's death warrant. Fairfax would not sign it. "What's wrong with you?" I answered. "He's a traitor and a tyrant." Charles Stuart chuckled nervously. "So I am not allowed to speak?" I said, "You can speak on the scaffold."
His head with the crown upon it.
"God damn this king," we cried. "Only tyrants will tremble recalling this day. Good men recall it with pride."
Cavalier tales of cross-dressing kings,
royal escaping up oaks. Ha! Give us that heaven on earth achieved and run by new model blokes.
and ladies. The greatest England for 400 years.
From Agincourt to Waterloo, one with God on our side at Naseby Field forever.
For England, for you.
Was the earth made to preserve a few covetous, proud men to live at ease, and for them to bag and barn up the treasures of the earth from others, that these may beg or starve in a fruitful land? Or was it made to preserve all her children?
The bloodiest war in our history, and 1 in 4 of us died, for a castled king on a stagnant throne in a revolutionary tide. I spilled my blood, so I need a voice, cries reborn John at Putney. Who dies for England is England's king. We are no grandee's army. The poorest man in England has the right to live as the greatest. Our God's the all in all, our King's the Christ in every breast. The bloodiest war in our history, and 1 in 4 of us died, for a castled king on a stagnant throne in a revolutionary tide. We're the voice of the free-born Englishman that was raised at Magna Carta, the dissenting flag of the good old cause, the commoner garden martyr. I rose with Tyler, Straw and Hall when peasants shook the kingdom. I was sold down that river of blood by a king who hogged the soul of England. We need no manor, house or land to fix our permanent interest. We fight for England, our rights and ourselves, no mercenary business. The bloodiest war in our history, and 1 in 4 of us died for a castled king on a stagnant throne in a revolutionary tide. I will rise at Kent's Hill and Talbot, I will fall at Peterloo, march to Charters Tell and a Newport Hotel to win this Britain for you. Die a million deaths in 2 world wars, though the portion's not so many as died for Charles, that man of blood, and in our red coat army a new model England truly advanced through rank and royal sin, in a cavalry charge to a future now, whose God, not man, is king. The bloodiest war in our history, and 1 in 4 of us died for a castled king on a stagnant throne in a revolutionary tide. The bloodiest war in our history, and 1 in 4 of us died for a castled king on a stagnant throne in a revolutionary tide.
In 1648, when England suffered the pangs of state, the Roundheads laid siege to Colchester town, where the king's men still fought for the crown. There one-eyed Thompson stood on the wall, he was the deadliest gunner of all. From St Mary's Tower, his cannon aflame, Humpty Dumpty was its name.
Second Civil War, 1648 to 1649. Siege of Colchester, June to August 1648. After extra time, draw. Penalty shootout. Parliamentary win.
Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again.
Battle of Preston, August 1648. Decisive parliamentary win over Royalists and Scots.